Hello friends, welcome to another episode of Blossoms and Bourbon. My name is Mark, I'm the owner here at Creative Occasions, and I want to welcome you to my workroom. It's a workroom where we occasionally do flowers and we occasionally drink bourbon. Just kidding, not during the workday. But tonight's pour, we're going to kind of mix in and drink while we work and see how that works out. Wathens Single Barrel is the pour for tonight. It's from the Medley Distillery in Owensboro, Kentucky. Yeah, if you look at the color on this one, it's kind of orangey, kind of a warm orange glow, nice for this time of year. So tonight's arrangement is going to be a centerpiece, and sort of a traditional centerpiece in some respects with candles in it. And it's certainly a centerpiece that you could use for a special occasion like holidays, if you're entertaining and have people over in your house. And so I want to show you how that might work with candles. First, we always need to put the candles in first. If you're using foam, started to skip right past that. There is a little trick, a little plastic device called a Handy Andy, which is a candle holder. It's got little prongs on the bottom of it. And the particular one that I have really is better for styrofoam and for hard foam. If you're using wet Oasis foam for fresh flowers, I prefer just to make a nice clean downward motion into the foam with the candle. It stays nice and secure. You're not going to have a problem with that, I don't think. So I think I want to put another one here. And of course you can see that they're not lined up because I hate that. All right, so this arrangement is going to be a little asymmetrical. I want it to not read like a traditional symmetrical centerpiece, but yet a centerpiece nonetheless that you could use for a special occasion. Someone has asked me in the past about determining the size of a centerpiece and how you do that. It really depends on a number of factors. One, of course, is the size of your table. So if you have a larger dining room table, obviously you're going to be able to make a larger arrangement work. If you have a smaller table, obviously you're going to need to scale that back somewhat. You also can make the arrangement dependent on whether or not your table is round, rectangular, oval. All of those things will impact the size and the shape of the arrangement. Another thing that will influence that is the food service. If you're doing family style food service, which means that the food is actually going to be on the table with bowls, platters, whatever that may be, whatever that may look like in your scenario, you're going to need to leave room for that and account for that with whatever kind of decor that you have on the table. Candles, apart from the ones in the centerpiece, all those things. If you're doing food service from another serving area, perhaps in your kitchen on an island or something, and you have lots more room open on the table, then you can have a larger arrangement. So that's one of those things that really I'm not going to be able to answer. There's not really a rule of thumb for, okay? I'm putting in now these beautiful kind of rust-colored cremones, which is in the mum family. And they're going to be kind of the focal area where we kind of have the attention. And I'm going to kind of terrace those a little bit so that there's one behind the other, and we're also doing that on the other side. Obviously you can tell this is going to be asymmetrical, but longer on this side, the length of that balanced by the candles here, okay? I am kind of doing a fallish, more vivid color palette in this arrangement. We're in the midst of that season right now, and I love the colors. I just think all these are so beautiful together. I do like using purples and blues as a way to kind of offset the warm traditional fall colors, the oranges and yellows. I think blues and purples are beautiful with that. And another product that I love is this flowering kale. Big old stem, so we want to be sure and get that in the arrangement first because it's going to take up a lot of room. I am going to skinny that stem down just a little bit by trimming it, because we don't have a ton of space in this foam here. Okay. Let's get a little greenery in there, just to kind of cover up some of the mechanics. This is Florida Ruscus, sometimes called upright Ruscus, sometimes called Israeli Ruscus. It's a great greenery. It's very hardy. As you can see, I'm just cutting it into these little sections based on how the growth pattern of the leaf happens. So we'll section there, section there, section there. Especially if we're doing a base treatment with greenery and just trying to cover up foam, those little sections are wonderful for doing that. So it's a great way to get multiple insertions out of one stem. Jason, have you had a sip? What'd you think? Good. Okay. It's good. He likes it. Cherry. Did you get the cherry? That is good. Cherry, a little citrus too. A little like lemon orangey flavor. That's nice. One thing when you're using live candles that you do want to be careful about, of course, is making sure that you don't get fresh floral product too close to the open flame. Well, obviously in this case, the open flame is going to be up here at the start of dinner. However, as dinner progresses, it's going to move down. So you do want to be sure that you keep things kind of low and away from where that point would be. I do like a bit of height to arrangements, even on the dining room table. But these mums, these little button mums that I'm putting in now, are great to add line and height, but also to add space. So they kind of extend the arrangement. They make the arrangement appear to be a little bit bigger than it actually is. And that's all because of space. It's actually called negative space because there's nothing there, but it adds to the dimension of the arrangement. Okay, so we're going to kind of mimic on this side what we've done on that side. I will also tell you, and if any of you know my wife, you know this is the case. When I'm doing Thanksgiving flowers in particular, she says, don't forget to put the hot pink in there. And hot pink is traditionally a color that most people don't think of when they think of Thanksgiving. But we're going to put hot pink in this arrangement, and I'm going to let you be the judge. You see what you think about it. I personally think she's right. She's always right. But I think she's right. It's a great addition to this kind of color palette. So let's go ahead and pop those in. It's not going to be a prominent hot pink. It is going to be subtle. All right. That's looking good. One of the reviews I read about this Wathens said that one of the flavors they got was sort of medicinal cherry, almost like cherry cough syrup or something. I don't get that at all. Do you, Jason? I know. I think this is very enjoyable. It's got a nice smooth finish and... Ah, gotcha. Jason was just saying he added some water to his, and that can brighten up the flavors a lot. Should definitely have this before dinner, whatever you're getting these flowers ready for. All right. We're in the last of the dahlia season. These dahlias are, bless their hearts, they're trying to hang on here, but they're starting to... And isn't that a great color with that hot pink and with those warm tones in the rust? Just love how all this is coming together. All right, because dahlias are just so beautiful, we're going to show them off a little bit. So we're going to put this guy up a little bit higher. Do you also like how the dahlia pulls out, maybe this is the better angle for that, that kind of purpley tone in this flowering kale? That color with that color in the leaf, beautiful. All right, then we'll balance over on this side with another one. One thing that you'll notice as you're working in a case like this, if you have candles already in the arrangement, some of your insertions are going to run smack dab into the candle. Not a big deal. Just kind of wiggle it around a little bit so that you move it and get it to a place where it will go in nicely. All right, so we're going to do a little more traditional fall here, a little warmer orange. I'm not really grouping flowers like I sometimes do and like to. Not like in the traditional way that we typically think of grouping flowers. Laura here at the shop helped pull the products for me for today. So this is kind of a surprise, which I kind of like. It's like competition when you go in and you don't really know what you're going to have to work with. All right, a few more berries. Hypericum berries are great, and as you are seeing me do, I've sectioned that foliage as well too, because it grows in those nice little kind of clusters. The foam above the level of the container is really nice because that allows me to make these nice lateral insertions really easily without too much trouble at all. All right, getting close here, people. Now, this is a sunset lily. The tonality of those shades of colors is how it got its name. Really just such a beautiful flower for this time of year. I'm typically not a fan much of Asiatic lilies. Just tend not to like them much as a flower. But this is one of my favorites. And this is how we're going to cover up that little break in that mum that I created. Right there. You can see that. We're going to just pop this lily in that's going to lay right over the top of that mum, so you never even know that there was a problem with it. All right, berries are certainly an indicator of fall, as are grasses and things like this millet, which again is a way to add more volume to the arrangement, and also that negative space concept we were talking about. One thing you do want to be aware of course, if you're making something for your dining room table, people are going to see it all the way around. They're going to be able to see this on all sides. So guests on either side of it and on the ends of it as well. So, you know, be sure to just double check against yourself to make sure that what you're doing is pleasing for whatever direction it may be viewed from. This greenery now, of course, is eucalyptus. And I'm using it just to add a little more dimension, kind of pull out the size of the arrangement a little bit on the sides. I do think, and I've talked to a number of caterers that are buddies of mine, I think it's important that if you're doing flowers for an event where a key element of the event is food, it's important to be aware of the fragrances of flowers so that they're not, you know, interfering with the food. And that would certainly be the case if you're doing Thanksgiving or a holiday dinner. So this eucalyptus may or may not be appropriate for your function. All right. One more sip, and then we're ready for dinner, right? Yeah, I think that's nice. I think that would certainly work to kind of be an interesting conversation piece. One thing that you could easily do with this to make this much more traditional, use the container as kind of the midpoint, put the candles kind of centered in the container, and then do equidistant on the sides for your centerpiece. That right away is going to make this a much more traditional looking arrangement. And if that's your style, then you absolutely should do it that way. So let me get one more sip before I say goodbye. Wathens Single Barrel, that's a good one. I like it. So friends, thanks for joining us. Please remember, if you want to help us, if you want to support us, remember to like the episodes, remember to subscribe, of course, and hit that little bell icon so that you'll be notified when we post new content. And as always, thank you for joining us. Cheers to you and to flowers every day. See you soon.